is a gorgeous Sunday afternoon here in New York City. A big crowd expected at the ballpark, filing in, waiting for the final game of this three-game set. As the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Toronto Blue Jays in the rubber game of this three-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with John Flaherty and Paul O'Neill. I'm Michael Kay. Nice win for the Yankees yesterday. Beat the Blue Jays 5-4. In fact, a good start to the season for the Yankees. So far, 15-9, first in the American League East. They lost only one series. That was in Boston. They lost 2 out of 3. They banged out the home runs, 43, most in the major leagues. And the back of the rotation, you look at the numbers. Cologne 2-1, 2.77, and Freddie Garcia 1-1 with a 2.00. Now, one of the guys who's really done a great job for the Yankees, exactly what they expect, Paul, is Robinson Cano.
Well, he's following up 2 back-to-back 200-hit seasons, so you know he's capable of doing these things. He's got that attitude. He started out the season kind of spraying the ball all over the place like we're accustomed to seeing. But lately, Robinson Cano has found that inside pitch, and he's found the home run ball. He's leading the team in hitting. He's leading the team in home runs, RBIs. He's making his stamp on trying to be the best second baseman in baseball.
Well, Mariano Rivera has done it his whole career, and the Yankees probably not looking forward to the time when his stuff is going to diminish. They haven't seen any of that in the month of April. You see a nice cutter right there. The velocity in yesterday's ball game up about 92, 93. Can pitch out of some tough jams, get some double plays when he needs to. Nothing new for the Yankees. Mariano Rivera had an outstanding month of April and picked up a save in yesterday's win against the Blue Jays.
And if you look at the numbers for both Cano and Rivera, a lot to smile about. Robinson Cano, the third player in Major League history with at least 30 hits and 8 home runs in consecutive Aprils. And for Mariano, an illustrious career, but the 9 saves he has at this point, it's the most in March and April that he's ever had in his career. Now, he might be on the mound again today. At least he's hoping to be, so he could save the game for the youngster, Ivan Nova. Last time out, Nova had arguably his best game ever. John Flaherty will break it down when we return on segment 2. Learn more, visit Kia.com by IOTV. IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. Get the best in HD free. And by Turkey Hill, the official ice cream of the New York Yankees. Well, the Yankees have taken the field, and because the Blue Jays are in town, we will have 2 anthems, the Canadian national anthem and our national anthem. So let's listen on this Sunday afternoon in New York City.
Navarro was the first Puerto Rican to play in the Negro Leagues. Elected to the Puerto Rican Baseball Hall of Fame in 1992 and the Puerto Rican Hall of Fame in 2004, Navarro was drafted by the Yankees in 2008 in the ceremonial Negro League draft. He was a great tribute to the Negro League players of yesteryear. Melito was 105 years old. Thank you. Now please remain standing. First, Yankee Stadium organist Ed Alstrom will play O Canada. Then please remain standing as he will then play our national anthem.
All right, so we're ready for baseball here at Yankee Stadium. Just a beautiful Sunday afternoon, a perfect day for this great game. So we hope you settle back and enjoy it with us. Let's take a look at the Blue Jays starting lineup, which is presented by Bank of America. Rajai Davis, the center fielder, will lead off. Batting second and playing shortstop, Yunel Escobar. Jose Bautista in right field, he'll hit third. Cleaning up playing first base, Adam Lind. Juan Rivera in left field will bat fifth. Batting sixth and catching, J.P. Arancibia. David Cooper, the DH, will bat seventh. Hitting eighth and playing third base, Edwin Encarnacion. And John McDonald, kid from Connecticut. He's the second baseman. He's going to bat ninth.
The lineup for the Blue Jays going to face Ivan Nova. It'll be his sixth start of the year for the New York Yankees, coming off his best start his last outing. The numbers. Be his sixth game and fifth start. 1-2, 5.82, 24 hits and 21 2/3 innings. Look at our Jeep pitcher scouting report for Nova. Last start, his longest against the White Sox, 6 1/3, longest of his career. Only one earned run in that ball game. And the third time through the order, not the charm for Nova. He has to get better at that. First time through, batting average of 188. Second time, 258. And the third and after, a batting average over 400. So definitely something to work on for him. And his little security blanket behind the plate, Francisco Cervelli, catching him this afternoon. He caught him 7 times in the past, so we'll see if it's a nice combination for the New York Yankees.
Let's check out the Yankee defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. First game for the Yankees this year, Francisco Cervelli is just so happy to be back, so he's behind the plate. In the infield, A-Rod, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira third to first. In the outfield, left to right, Gardner, Granderson, and Swisher. And as John just detailed, Ivan Nova is on the mound.
Flash, let me ask you something. This brought back little flashbacks. You know, you run out every day for the national anthem, right? And you collect your thoughts and everything, and then all of a sudden the anthem's over and you hear the crowd start to cheer and you go to put your hat on. But when you do it with the Canadian teams in town, how many times did it get you? Right after the Canadian anthem, you go to put your hat on?
Yep.
We got another one. We got another one to go here. So I wasn't the only one.
No, definitely not.
IOTV offers incredible HD picture and sound. Get the best in HD free. IOTV is the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball here on Yes. All right, Ivan Nova is going to end this Yankee homestand. They split the first 4 games against the White Sox, and they split the first 2 here against the Blue Jays. So this actually is the rubber game of the homestand for the Yankees. Blue Jays coming at 13 and 14. Davis digs in. Nova is ready on the mound, and let's do it here in New York City. And the first pitch is up and in, so we are underway. Nova deals high again.
A couple of fastballs up in the zone early for Nova. His last outing against the White Sox, a curveball really his best pitch, able to throw it for a strike. Able to bounce it in the dirt, pick up a few strikeouts.
There's a strike to Davis.
Scheduling early in the year, 2 4-game series in back-to-back weeks. 4-game series are tough. I mean, very easy to split, hard to win 3 out of 4. Start another 4-game series tomorrow against Detroit.
Count 2-2. And it gets real hairy if you lose the first game.
Yeah, it's I like a 2-game series and 4-game series. I mean, you get so accustomed to winning 2 out of 3 in the city and going on to the next one with a good feeling. Very hard to sweep a 2-game and win 3 out of 4 in the 4 games.
The 2-2. Foul back. I know Paul was worried about this entire series, so I looked it up. Rajai, the word Rajai means king in Sanskrit. So he's really King Davis.
King Davis.
Yep.
We had a king here, El Duque. He was a king, wasn't he?
He was a duke.
Isn't that king?
I thought Jim Leyritz was a king.
Yeah, he was a true king. There's a king right there. That's a good breaking ball.
This was the breaking ball from his last outing, able to drop it for a strike and a strikeout. You see Davis a little flinch.
Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. This is always Paul's favorite part. 63 degrees. It doesn't get better than that. 38% humidity, not much wind, and it is a beautiful day for baseball.
I tell you, Bigelow Tea got their money's worth this weekend. It's been a beautiful weekend since I've been here.
Here's Yunel Escobar. Pitch outside, 1-0. 6-game hitting streak for Escobar, 7 for 24 during the streak. That one is lined into center field. And right there is Granderson for the second out. Nova so much better first time through the order. The opponents hit 188 against him. Second time it's 258. Third time 400. Here's Jose Bautista. 5-game hitting streak, 17 for his last 18, also 15 for his last 33. Leads the American League in hitting and in home runs. Pitch outside.
Got to believe player of the month in the American League is on the field today, either Robinson Cano or Bautista, huh?
You would think. They might go with a pitcher, Jared Weaver.
Yeah.
That one is lined to left center field, giving chase. Granderson on the run, and he makes the play. He took an extra base hit away from Jose Bautista. Put a star next to that one, as Granderson got a great jump, turned on the Jets, reached up, and it settled into the webbing. Blue Jays nothing, and the Yankees coming to bat. Yankees starting lineup that he's going to face, and it's presented by Lexus. The captain, the shortstop, Derek Jeter, leads off. Batting second, playing center field, Curtis Granderson. Mark Teixeira's at first base. He'll hit third. Cleaning up, playing third base, Alex Rodriguez. Robinson Cano at second will bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing right field, Nick Swisher. Jorge Posada will DH, he'll bat seventh. Batting eighth, playing left field, Brett Gardner. And Francisco Cervelli will catch, and he's going to bat ninth.
The New York Yankees going to get a look at Jesse Litch, right-hander for the Toronto Blue Jays. It'll be his 5th start, 2-1, a 3.86, 25 hits, and 23 in the 3rd innings. We'll look at our Jeep pitcher scouting report. And he is not an overpowering righty. He is a crafty righty, good slider, a little sinker, doesn't light up the radar gun. He gets better with age. Unlike Ivan Nova, you have to get him early. 353 batting average the first time through and 220 after, so he gets a little better as the game goes on. And he's a righty killer. Righty's only hitting 150 against him this year with 1 RBI. It's probably because of that good slider.
Here's Derek Jeter. And a breaking ball swung and missed.
You know, Michael, you talked about Granderson making a great play, but Bautista, you see where Granderson's playing right here? Dead pull hitter. The only reason he has an opportunity to even make a play on this ball was positioning before the pitch was even thrown. Good heads-up play.
There's a ground ball to short, Escobar. And a nice scoop by Lind for the first out. Why don't we check out the Blue Jays defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. In the outfield, Rivera, Davis, and Bautista, that's left to right. Third to first in the infield, Encarnacion. We just saw Escobar, McDonald, and Lind. Aaron Sebia behind the plate, and Jesse Litch is on the mound. Here's Curtis Granderson. Litch has been in baseball since he was a kid. Grew up in Florida, and in 2001 he wrote a 1,000-word essay to be an intern in the PR department of the Tampa Bay Rays. He always hung out in the clubhouse while he was an intern, and they made him a bat boy in 2002. And he said his favorite player there was Toby Hall.
I was there in 2002, and I guess I wasn't his favorite player, huh?
Well, Toby Hall probably went out the bullpen, caught him.
They're probably the same age.
He probably asked you, and you said, "No, son, I got some work to do." Something like that.
Do you remember him?
Yeah, I do. I remember him on the field playing a lot of long toss, had a good arm.
Really?
Now, obviously, didn't look at the bat boy and say, this kid's going to be a big leaguer.
Not too many guys open their door into the big league career by writing a 1,000-word essay. Huh?
It's unusual. It's unusual also that John could be in a room of people and not be the favorite person.
Well, you know what, to be honest, that was the 5th year of my Devil Ray career. I'm sure I was a little testy at the end of that run. Maybe I wasn't as nice to Jesse as I should have been.
You got your opportunity now. You're up here. You got a microphone. You can just talk him up all day. You owe him a few good things.
I talked about his slider being a crafty righty, and he has shown early on a kind of an unusual grip, almost a circle change. Look at the action. Acts like a slider into Curtis Granderson.
Yeah, that's That's almost like a cutter, and they try to actually help him to throw the ball more fastballs, but he seems to cut everything. I don't know how you get the velocity on a cutter with that finger tucked in almost like a changeup.
Count 1-1. Well, Teixeira came to spring training and started working the winter, and he was intent on not having a bad April. And you know what? He had a pretty good April. 256, 6 homers, 16 runs batted in. Turn the calendar. Today's May 1st. Fouled away. He hit a lot earlier in the winter. Last season, hit 136 in his first 81 at-bats with 2 homers. Now 120 points more. 82 at-bats with 6 homers. Didn't lift as many weights in the offseason that he had done previously. And he said it's all an experiment. I said, well, why did you lift weights in the offseason? He said, so I could be stronger for the end of the year. I said, well, if you didn't lift weights, what if you're not as strong? He said, we're hoping that's not a trade-off, and I'm lifting weights now during the season. The 2-2. That one is driven to right field and deep. Going back, Bautista on the track, looking up. See ya! Strong enough on that swing. A solo shot for Teixeira, and the Yankees lead 1-0.
Well, the problem with pitchers that like to throw those sliders or cutters, whatever you want to call them, and if you don't get them in and they lay out over the plate, they become home run pitches. That ball's up in the zone. You could tell off the bat I was heading for the seats.
Yeah, talking to Alan Ashby, who does some radio work for the Blue Jays, old catcher, he said, you know, and Litch really has to work down probably more than anybody on their staff. Like a pitch up in the zone, and Mark Teixeira jumped all over it.
His eyes get wide when he's about to swing that bat. They got even wider when he went around the bases. Home run for him is 7th of the year, 17th run batted in.
Knows it's May, right? Start getting really hot.
Alex, 4th in the American League with a 407 on-base percentage. But he has 3 hits in his last 23 at-bats. His first slide of the year, and he had yesterday as a day off. And the 3-0. That's right.
See, even a 3-0 pitch ball, a little cutter away. Nothing's going to be straight, it looks like, this afternoon.
See the break on that. You're right. 3-0s usually a fastball, especially in the first inning. Fastball, like everything's breaking.
Strike 3. A-Rod down looking. So he paints the inside corner. A-Rod's not in love with the call. But Mark Teixeira kind of likes what he did. 2-2 pitch. He drives into the seats and right. And with that swing, the Yankees lead 1-0 as we go to the second inning.
In the course of last year, threw strikes the whole time for us. This year, it's been a little difficult. And I'm not an excuse maker. But you wonder sometimes about guys in really, really cold weather. Do they have that same feel? In the 2 starts that he really struggled, it was pretty brutal out there. And he got back on track in his last start, 65, 66 degrees outside. So for him, it's, you know, you have to control your mind. You have to be aggressive in counts, get ahead, and that's the key.
Well, no excuses today. Beautiful weather here at the stadium, about the same temperature as his last start. And he has a 1-0 lead after Mark Teixeira's home run. So Joe Girardi talking about his pitcher, Ivan Nova, who worked a 10-pitch, 1-2-3 inning in the first. 1-1 to Lind. He's high a lot so far early. Maybe he's too strong. Count 2-1. Lind has a 6-game hitting streak, 10 hits and 24 at-bats. High fly ball down the left field line. Giving chase is Gardner. He's in the corner, and that one is off the wall. I say it's off the pole now, and it is a home run, according to the third base umpire, Wally Bell. Sliced it right down the line, and it stayed fair to hit the pole for a home run to tie the game.
Every once in a while, as a left-handed hitter, you just poke one down the line, and you feel like you just stole a home run because everybody assumes it's just going to hook foul or slice foul, and that ball just went off the pole.
How about the swing and the reaction when he comes out of the box? Kind of surprised, you're right, that it's going to stay fair. And next thing you know, you're hoping for a double. Now it's a home run off the pole.
Hit the screen. Here's Juan Rivera. Gives the screen a nice little shake. Pitch is high.
You're right, Michael. I mean, you see his fastball's not up in the zone, but up out of the zone, really high. Usually, I've always noticed when guys have trouble throwing their fastball down in the zone, they also have trouble throwing that curveball for a strike.
John, how do you correct it when it's up in the zone?
Well, I was just thinking a lot of times you'll hear a pitching coach say, shorten your stride a little bit. Your stride's a little bit long, so your arm kind of drags behind a little bit. Fastball ends up, and like Paul said, the curveball as well.
So he ends up walking Rivera on 4 pitches following the foul pole home run. Today's closed captioning brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Here's JP Arancibia. JP, #1 draft pick for the Blue Jays in 2007. Out of the University of Tennessee. Actually attended the same high school as Alex Rodriguez in Florida, Westminster Christian. High fly ball, fairly deep right. Swisher's there, he'll make the catch. Tagging is Rivera, but he just bluffs for the first out. That's going to bring up David Cooper, and let's check out the Home Depot hitter scatter report on Mr. Cooper.
Well, we talked about Mr. Cooper this weekend. I mean, this is his first weekend in the big league. I mean, he's a first rounder. They're expecting big things from him back in 08. He was a first round pick. Minor league slugger. I mean, he was hitting 393 when he got, or 395 when he got called up. So they're expecting big offensive numbers, and he's still waiting. I know it's only a couple days, but when you're just called up to the big league, you want to get rid of that first hit. He's still waiting. Mother, girlfriend, and sister are still waiting.
They changed the way they sat, though, from the first 2 games.
Don't think that's not intentional. I'm finding out stories 20 years or 10 years, 15 years later from my kids. My wife would do all kinds of things around the house to try to get you a hit. Stand on a table, different chairs, all kinds of stuff.
See, but I understood Neville doing that. She was desperate. If you didn't get hits and you came home, you were not a nice person.
Well, she wanted lifetime extensions and things too. She wanted me to do well, right? Imagine being a 5-year-old kid and watching your mom stand on tables and go to different chairs, and you're thinking, what's wrong with this lady? Here I thought Dad was a nut. Now my mom's turning on me.
The 1-0. There's a strike.
I was just thinking, I've seen my wife stand on tables, but it had nothing to do with baseball games. No.
Lucky you, huh?
After dinners, maybe.
See, we've been at this a lot longer than you, Michael. All these stories are yet to come in your life. All these white stories.
So you mean Jody's going to stand on the table so I have a
so
good broadcast?
New to the game. You just got so many things to look forward to.
1-1 game. 2 home runs so far. Solo shots by Mark Teixeira and Adam Lind. Rivera leads off first with 1 out.
Flash, how's Nova hold runners? Because Toronto has made it a point to run this series. They've stolen third base numerous times.
You know, he does a pretty good job. But you watch Rivera, and all these guys seem to be peeking, trying to look at signs, trying to pick a curveball. Yesterday for AJ, which Russell Martin talked to Jack Curry after the game, seemed to be running on a lot of off-speed pitches, picking the right pitch.
Tom Farrell was talking about it. He said we kept running on 2-strike pitches because our scouting report shows that AJ likes to bounce that breaking ball with 2 strikes. And they're second in the American League in stolen bases, the Blue Jays. A far cry from Cito Gaston's days when he would sit back and just let things develop. And the Royals are 34 stolen bases. Two. Short pop-up into right field. He's going to dunk in for a base hit, and that's his first major league hit.
It counts.
Get that baseball.
Look at that. There we go. What a relief.
And there's the ball. Goes to Butterfield, and we'll get it into the dugout. And that'll go on somebody's trophy case.
All right, Paul, where's your first major league base hit baseball? You have it displayed anywhere?
No, to tell you the truth, I'm trying to think. It's downstairs in the archives. It's kind of a little thing. They're drop. Yeah, see that?
That's great. Here's Edwin Encarnacion. Well, John, I mean, Paul's a guy, you know, his batting title, bat, he says it's under the couch somewhere in the basement.
That first baseball, that first hit should be something.
You know what? That's one of your fondest memories, though. I mean, when you look back at your major league career, immediately you can think of your first hit. There's no trying to draw that back. It's there.
Where's yours, John?
Well, I know it's hard to believe with the last name Flaherty. I have a bar in my basement.
Really?
And it's displayed in the bar.
Yeah.
So I have a glass top. If you ever swagger up to the bar and you can look down at the baseball.
It's a pretty big league, isn't it, Mike?
I've been to the house. It is a big league. Yeah, very nice.
You know, it's amazing. He's been to my house. I've never been to his couple of cottages.
Larry Rothschild comes out and talks with Ivan Nova. All in due time, John. What do you think Rothschild's saying here? Is he just trying to slow him down, or has he noticed something specific?
Yeah, it might be the stride length, like I mentioned. I mean, the end result is pitches up in the zone, and he's got enough of a fastball. He can do that when he wants to, but he's got to work down with a little bit of movement. Nobody better at breaking down the mechanics. You talked about it, Paul, with Larry Rothschild.
Some people just love what they do. Larry Rothschild's one of those guys. Kevin Long loves to just look at hitting and kind of break it down into certain things. Michael Kay just loves what he does. It's just the way it is.
Popped up by Encarnacion, so whatever Rothschild said, it worked. As Teixeira puts away the second out.
We okay today, Michael?
I think so.
We had a little spat in the first inning yesterday. Huh?
I actually walked into the stadium at about 10:30, and there's a gentleman outside gate 2, and he runs up to me. I didn't know what he said. Don't let O'Neill interrupt you anymore. I said, I don't know if I have much choice, but thanks. Here's John McDonald. John McDonald knew how to, or learned how to throw with accuracy from all over the infield, starting at 7 years old. He would play catch with his dad, and his dad said, if I've got to reach, I'm not going to reach. You got to hit me in the chest. And so every time the ball was not at the chest, little John would have to go chase it. So he learned how to do that. There's a fly ball left field. Gardner is there, and that will do it. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. The 1 run on 1 swing. Adam Lind goes the other way, almost by accident. And it just kisses the foul screen for a home run. Robinson Cano coming up to the plate. Let's check out the Delta League leaders. And check this out. April hits since 2009. Cano has 99. And that's the most in the major leagues. Miguel Cabrera and Ryan Braun have 93. So here is Cano. 328 home runs and 21 runs batted in. 1-1 game. Bottom of the second inning. Pitch is high.
Dangerous hitter right now, especially the way Litch is going out, throwing those cutters in. And that's the pitch that Robbie's really handling right now.
And that one is looped to left field, but it is a foul ball.
You know, Paul, I was just thinking, I don't remember seeing a stretch like this with a couple of games we've seen, but Robinson Cano been pulling a lot of balls lately. Usually he wears out left center and then pulls an off-speed pitch, but right now, right side of the field is friendly.
And if you look at the pitches, they're pitches that should be pulled. I mean, on the inner half of the plate, it's not like he's going out and hooking the outside pitch. It's for some reason these guys are going at him inside. It's a tough pitch right there. Now that's the perfect cutter you throw to lefty. That ball ends up off the plate inside. There's a regular grip there, but you see just kind of a little finish at the end that kind of curls that ball inside right into the hands.
The 1-2. Strike three. Cano down looking.
That's the backdoor cut. He had the cutter working on that at bat.
Not really known as a strikeout pitcher, Litch, but I'll tell you what, you mix that cutter in and backdoor cutter, it's going to work out.
It's time for the Toyota text poll. Today's question: which of these injured players due back soon will have the biggest impact upon returning? You can text us at 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply. Is it Neftali Feliz? Is it Zach Greinke? Or is it Evan Longoria?
Flash is looking at me like I'm crazy here, Michael. I just dumped the whole chicken thing all over myself, and I'm trying to shout it out while we do the inning here.
Well, at least we finally now have proof. Look, everybody. Exactly. This is how much this guy eats.
And now
all
the eating was like my first bite of the day. Now I'm done. If I don't say anything from like the fourth inning on, folks, you know why. I've died of starvation up here.
You know why I feel really bad for him, John? He was just telling us about how much he loved this shirt, and now it's shot. It's over.
You didn't even get a couple of spots up
what's
here.
What's this thing do? I mean, shout it out. What's that mean anyway? All it does is get you wet.
Where did you get shout?
Now that's a good question. I know Audrey just snapped her fingers and it showed up.
Did you drop the food or did you get to eat it?
I got one bite. Like I said, it'll last me at the fourth inning.
Swisher fouls it back.
Flash will share with me already.
Whatever you need.
Yeah. You did order, didn't you?
Some grilled chicken up there for you?
That's all we need.
The 1-2. 2-2.
I'll tell you what, Litch, a guy who came back from Tommy John surgery, and you can see why. Everything he throws, they use that elbow to cut it in on righties, backdoor cutters, sliders.
Oh, what a play by Litch. And he took a base hit away from Swisher.
You know, the rule of thumb on Tommy John, too, is it's a year. It's 12 months. Well, he came back in like 11 months. And you'll see that he's a good fielder. Wow. But he came back like a month early, and then he ended up hurting his hip. And he ended up surgery on his hip. But it didn't help it helped his reflexes right there. Good play. A lot of times you see a pitcher just react almost defensively if the ball's right at him. I mean, he reacted and moved a long way to catch that ball.
Here's Posada. Posada won for his last 28. Now, I was talking to Kevin Long, the Yankee hitting coach today, and he said, I see it coming. He said early on he looked lost. He goes, I wasn't sure. He goes, but the last couple of days I see it coming. There's a ground ball to second base, and Jorge grounds out to second base with a final out of a 1-2-3 inning here in the second. Kevin's still watching, and we go to the third. Is John Davidson, former Ranger, now the St. Louis Blues GM, and returns home. We watch a Yankee game. Good friend of the Yankee trainer Steve Donahue. So welcome back to John Davidson. Top of the third inning, in the top of the order, Rajai Davis against Ivan Nova. And the pitch. Shows bunt, takes a pitch inside. Now we're going to have a chance. To talk with our very own Jack Curry. He's down in the third base camera. Well, what's up, Jack?
Hey, Michael, how are you?
All well up here, and obviously beautiful weather down there. Now, I know that you got to the ballpark early today, and you talked to Derek Jeter about what some perceive to be struggles. Does he believe he's struggling?
No, Jeter, as you know, Michael, he's a guy who has as much confidence when he goes out there as anybody on the Yankees, despite what his average might be. So he's hitting .250 right now, and I started to talk to him about that. And what I found interesting is here's a guy who has 2,949 career hits. And I bet you if I asked him that, he wouldn't know that. But one thing that he said, and I'd love to get Paul and John's take on this, I said, you're a .314 career hitter. And he said, yes. Coming into today, he's 23 for 92. And he said to me, so if I go 4 for 4 in my next 2 days, I'm back to my career average. And he's right. He'd be at 310. But what surprised me is that Jeter knew that.
Would you guys know that?
The mathematician, you can figure out where you should be. I think that everybody's looking at his hitting and things. It's kind of the way he's hitting. You know, he's not driving the ball yet, but I do agree that a good week or so, this all goes away for a while.
But, you know, the one thing that I did pay attention to is that first 100 at-bats. You know, and you know that if you get an extra hit or two, I mean, it's 20 points right there.
Sure.
You're hitting 250 instead of 270.
That foul ball got Laz Diaz so quickly out of the dugout as Gene Monahan, tending to the home plate umpire. I'm always intrigued when you ask Derek about bad stuff. Does he want to talk about it, Jack?
No, you know that. He doesn't want to talk about anything but what's going on the field with the team. Derek doesn't like talking about himself. We know when he has an injury, he gives very short answers. He doesn't want to tell guys how he's injured, as we, of course, are dealing with an injury on the field right now. And Paul talked about a mathematician. I just failed that test. It actually would be 320 if he had the chance to go 4 for 4 in his 2 games, but that didn't happen. No, Michael, I think that Derek doesn't want the focus to be on him. I asked him about his stride and his swing, and he said he was done tinkering. He said he likes the way he feels right now. He's comfortable with what he's doing. And he said as a guy who comes to the ballpark every day, he needs to focus on what is happening on that day. He said he can't look a week back. He can't look a week ahead. Whether that week has been tremendous or that week has been disappointing, he's trying to focus on the 3, 4, 5 at-bats that he's going to get on a daily basis.
Is that the right approach, John?
Well, it's the right approach, but I was just thinking in my head, I could never do that. I would always think about my 10 or 15 at-bats beforehand, whether they were I'm hot or I'm struggling. I always knew it when I walked into the box.
Yeah, I took batting practice much more serious than most people because I always thought, you know, if I felt great in batting practice, then I was going to feel great in the game. And it wasn't always the case, but I've noticed that over the years with G2. You know, he really bears down in batting practice and things like that. But, you know, he's having to fight these things mentally with tinkering with his swing, and I agree with him 100% now of just going up, concentrating, having 4 or 5 good at-bats every single day, and then you're going to show what kind of hitter you are.
So it looks like Laz Diaz is okay. He waves everybody away, just needed some time to collect himself. And the count is 3-2 on Rajai Davis. Obviously, Ivan Nova wants to keep Davis off the bases because he's a pest once he gets on. So the Yankee right-hander deals, and he's going to be on. So Rajai Davis works a leadoff walk, and that's going to lead us to Francisco Cervelli trying to gun him down. Now, Cervelli back behind the plate today. First game as a Yankee, Jack. He's probably busting out of his shoes right now, just happy to be in there.
And this is a perfect segue, Michael, because in talking to him this morning about catching, and about facing the Jays. He said they're a different team to be behind the plate to try and stop. He actually said he needs 4 eyes. He said, forget 2 eyes. I need an extra set of eyes to watch these guys on the bases. They set a club record with 30 stolen bases in April, but Cervelli said he would be ready. And one interesting point about Cervelli, guys, you know how excitable he is behind the plate? He brings a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, pumps his fist a lot. He told me before the game that he plans to have the same amount of energy and plan to bring that energy to his pitcher, but he said as far as the emotion goes, he was going to tame that a little bit. Sometimes he said you have to make some changes.
Here's Yunel Escobar. Now, it's interesting you said that, Jack, because I had heard from players around the league they didn't like it. They thought that he did it too much, especially for a kid that's just a kid and hadn't accomplished that much. I wonder if somebody got to him and said, okay, enough is enough.
Well, he didn't elaborate, Michael, but I think you're right. You're putting 2 and 2 together, and I'm sure there was probably somebody who told him, don't let your histrionics take away from being a very good defensive catcher and a guy who brings a lot of energy. He initially told me that in spring training that he was going to do that, and then he elaborated on it again today and saying, this is the difference that you will see in me behind the plate today. And guys, he goes back with Nova to the minor leagues. He caught 6 of his 7 starts last year. So that's one of the reasons Girardi has him in this weekend, trying to guide Nova against this Jays lineup.
All right, finally, Jack, you broke some news on Twitter earlier today about Kevin Millwood.
Right. Kevin Millwood had an out in his minor league contract. He had the ability to opt out today. The Yankees told Kevin Millwood, based on what they had seen at the minor league level, they didn't believe he should be added to their 25-man roster. Kevin Millwood, in their eyes, wasn't going to give them anything more than any of the pitchers they had here. In his last outing, guys, 2 innings, 6 runs at the AAA level. His fastball has been around the 85, 86-mile mark. Once the Yankees said they weren't going to add him, Millwood opted out. He's a free agent now, and he goes looking for a job again.
Runner goes, pitch out, throw is high, throw to second. Not in time. That was a bad pitch out by Ivan Nova. Not much that Cervelli could do.
Well, a great play by Cervelli just to catch this ball, and they say on a pitch out you anticipate a bad pitch out, and Cervelli must have done that because a great play just to catch it. Surprised he tried to regroup and make a throw because it looked like a lot of bad things could have happened right there.
It did. I like it was a short hop, and still actually was kind of close, but again, I don't think you do expect a pitch out up there.
So the Yankees guessing along with the Blue Jays, and they had the pitch out when he was going. The 2-1 to Escobar, breaking ball but a strike. And finally, Jack, is there going to be any sniffs on Millwood, or is the rest of baseball going to shy away because he didn't do so well in the Yankee system?
Well, Michael, not only did he not do very well with the Yankees, this is a guy who didn't sign until late in spring training, so he was out there for teams to sign. He wanted a major league deal. The Yankees eventually signed him to a minor league deal, so I know teams always need pitching, but I wonder what has changed between about a month or 6 weeks ago from then to now that someone is suddenly going to say, yeah, Kevin Millwood is the guy we need to come in and be a factor for us.
Good stuff, Jack. We'll talk to you a little later on.
Take care, guys.
All right, Jack Curry on our postgame a little bit later on Yes. 2-2 on Escobar, and Nova deals. Swing and a miss. Good breaking ball for the first out.
Yeah, you wonder if they're going to go to this breaking ball maybe a little bit more because the fastball has been up all afternoon. A couple of nice curveballs back to back. Some strikeout.
You remember last year talking about Kevin Millwood. I mean, last year in the middle of the year, I mean, he was like the gem out there. Everybody was interested in the big money. We could still get him, and that's why you just can't rush out as a general manager and just every time you think you need a pitcher, grab somebody. Then you would have been stuck, with another contract for 2 or 3 years with a guy that, you don't even want to bring up from AAA right now.
The Yankees still have another veteran down there that they're trying to see if he can help them up here, and that's Carlos Silva, who they picked up after the Cubs let him go. So Millwood has opted out today. Davis really distracts the pitcher. We've seen that this entire series.
And again, I mean, Bautista has been in this position a lot this series with that first base open, wondering if I am going to get a pitch to hit, and it starts wearing on your mind as a hitter when you get up in these positions. Are they going to give me anything hit? And you all become a little lackadaisical at the plate.
This is one of those combinations I look out at this field and say I don't see too many good things happening here. I mean, Nova's concerned with Davis, and rightfully so, but the man at the plate is one of the hottest hitters in baseball, who hit a home run off of Nova last year. See that, first player in Major League history with at least 30 hits, 9 home runs, and 28 walks during the month of April. So if you're Von Nova, you might want to pay a little bit more attention to Bautista at the plate.
Does that stat seem as shocking to you as it does to me? That's the first and only player to do that in the big league history? That's unbelievable.
I'm trying to figure out which
is tougher.
What separates it. I think it's got to be the walks.
Yeah.
If you have 9 home runs, you're probably going to get a lot of walks if you have 9 home runs in the month of April.
Yeah, but he's hitting, 360 something too.
Yeah.
But to be able to have that many hits, that many home runs, and that many walks, it's got to be the walks.
One game. Home run by Lind, a home run by Teixeira. That's where we stand, top of the third. Good breaking ball. He feels pretty good about his breaking ball today.
Yeah, I think Cervelli and Nova should go to it a little bit more. Fastball has been kind of lost, but the curveball is starting to show up. Ride it out for a few innings, see if that fastball will come back later on with the location.
Runner goes. Like Cervelli might have been crossed up, so Davis will reach third with a stolen base.
And again, I mean, either they're seeing something and they're really good at guessing because they're running on breaking balls. That ball down in the dirt. Cervelli does a good job just to block it.
I'll tell you what, if he doesn't block it, then you start thinking about Davis, thinking about coming around third base and scoring. So nice play by Cervelli, just keeping it in front.
Ground ball is short. That's going to get a run in. And it does. So Bautista picks up his 16th ribby. And the Blue Jays now lead 2-1. So Rajai Davis made that run happen.
He's really done a lot offensively for this team since this series started. It just absolutely, when he gets on, he steals bases, he's scoring runs, and we talked that he's been out most of the season, so he really adds a lot to this offense.
Along with Paul O'Neill, John Flaherty, and Jack Curry, I'm Michael Kay. We thank you for joining us on this Sunday afternoon. Yankees trailing the Blue Jays 2-1, top of the third inning. Ground ball right side and through, so a base hit for Adam Lind.
Well, they're really seeing what they want to see in Adam Lind. We talked about it the first couple games. He came off of a hot Texas series, hit 3 consecutive home runs in 3 days, and now he's starting to continually come out day after day, get his hits. They're going to have to pitch more to Bautista, and that's only going to help the Blue Jays score runs.
Here's Juan Rivera. He walked in the second inning. Good fastball, swung and missed. Ground ball is short. Jeter with a tough hop. Goes the short way, and that will do it. But the Blue Jays get a run on 1 hit, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the third, 2-1 Jays. Express, enjoy the journey. Yankees go on the road, and they will have 4 games against Detroit. That'll be Bob Lorenz and John Flaherty and Kimberly Jones. And then in Texas, the Yankees head there for 3 games before coming back for another homestand. So that is our upcoming schedule. All the games on the road trip will be on Yes. Brett Gardner will dig in. 5 hits in his last 12 at bats. Seems a little more sure of himself at the plate, seeing the ball better, drawing walks. Yankees now trail by 1, 2-1 on the Lincoln scoreboard. And the pitch. It's high. 1-0. Pitch high again, the count 2-0.
Pay attention here if some of the Yankee hitters go up there, maybe sitting on that cutter inside. Brett Gardner sat on that bench and watched some of the Yankees swing and miss at the cutter.
Well, coming into this game, lefties have been very successful against him. 19 for 53, that's 358, as the count goes to 3-0 on Gardner. And righties have struggled, hitting 150. And usually the cutter with a right-handed pitcher, Mariano has always been death on left-handers. And he had almost developed that two-seamer, so righties couldn't just reach across the plate. But Litt seems to be having trouble, despite having the cutter, against the lefty batters. Here's the 3-0. And he just couldn't come near the plate on that one. That's a guy he did not want to walk, Brett Gardner. Now, Gardner's now been on base in 9 of his last 12 plate appearances. Here's Francisco Cervelli, his first big league at bat. And in spring training against the Astros, he fouled the ball off of his foot, broke the foot, and he was in pain. Gene Monahan was there, Joe Girardi was there, and he knew right away something was up. And had him in a walking boot. And he ended up having 6 rehab games, and he was 5 for 23 in those rehab games. They were more concerned with getting him ready to catch games than getting his bat ready. There's a bunt and a nice scoop by Lynn as Gardner moves to second.
Yeah, I was interested to see how that at bat was going to play out. I mean, his first at bat in the big leagues this year with Gardner on first. You could have hit and ran maybe, but a perfectly executed sacrifice bunt. Litch, who we mentioned early on, pretty athletic, and a good scoop by Lynn.
Let me throw this at you guys. Aren't you almost wasting a sac bunt when you've got Gardner on first?
Yeah,
Don't you want him to steal second?
I'm thinking let him steal and then use the bunt to get him to third. It can work each way. And a lot of times now, this day and age, guys will even bunt on their own. You don't even know if he was given the sacrifice. I mean, he might just be comfortable moving him over, and he did the job.
He had 8 sac bunts last year, so his first one this season. Here's Derek Jeter.
Good time for Jeet to drag bunt. Encarnacion way back at third.
And it clips Jeter on the way by.
Paul, I don't know what you think, but through the years watching Derek, it almost seems like in situations like that, if he's not feeling 100%, he might try to lay down to bunt. See, this fastball's just clip a little bit of the shirt, it looked like.
Let's see if we can hear it go by. I think he got him on his elbow pad. So first and second for the Yankees. And here's Granderson.
Ball right there. Had the little cut action, but out over the plate. And again, that's the dangerous pitch as a pitcher. Balls spin out over the plate. They stay in that strike zone a long time. Flash, you probably as a catcher want to go out and grab them before they hit them.
Call timeout.
Halfway there.
Yeah.
Ground ball, base hit to right field. Good on for Bautista, and they're going to hold up Gardner.
Wow.
One of the things about Yankee Stadium is right field is short. Robbie Thompson has to know that. Gardner off with the crack of the bat, but the ball was hit fairly hard. Bautista, great arm, a lot of assists last year, so holding him from the get-go.
Well, you also got Mark Teixeira coming up, who homered his first at bat. I'm sure Robbie Thompson thinking about that with Alex Rodriguez following, who's been struggling a little bit lately.
Fourth player in Major League history with 54 more home runs and 12 outfield assists. The other one's Babe Ruth, Ralph Kiner, and Sammy Sosa. That was last year. And those 12 assists, obviously what Robbie Thompson was thinking about. Bautista has a great arm out there. So here's Teixeira with the bases loaded. And a strike. This year with runners in scoring position, Teixeira 357, 3 homers, and 11 runs batted in. Gardner is at third, Jeter's at second, Granderson is at first. Good speed on the bases. That one is grounded to second base. There's one. On to first, it's a double play. McDonald to Escobar to Lean. And that is exactly what Jesse Litz needed. No runs a hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We played 3 at the stadium. Toronto leads 2-1. Partner play, great partnerships are built on trust at G Capital. We prove that every day.
Well, John McDonald going to his right does a nice job getting there, but flips out of his glove, doesn't use his hand, and it's accurate to Escobar, and they complete the double play. Kind of a gutsy play here, but it works out for the Blue Jays, your partner play.
Here's JP Arancibia. And there's a strike. We told you he went to the same high school as Alex Rodriguez, Westminster Christian in Miami. And he actually tied Alex for the all-time school record, 17 home runs. It's a hot shot to Jeter. Stays with a tough hop. And there's one away. It's time for the New York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz. Let's see what we have. Before Robinson Cano in 09 and 10, who was the last second baseman in Major League Baseball to have back-to-back 200-hit seasons?
Think about that one.
It's one of those ones that a name pops in my head right away. I think I'm 100% right, and then I'm never right.
Will you tell us that name in the bottom of the fourth?
I will. I'll be honest with you.
Okay. Here's David Cooper. He picked up his first big league hit in the second. And there's a strike.
That was any second baseman. It wasn't a Yankee second baseman.
Any second baseman. Pop foul.
Well, the second inning, he's been waiting the whole weekend for it, and he gets jammed right over the head of Robinson Cano in front of Nick Swisher. The family excited.
And now he has 2 hits.
Now it's easy, Paul.
Hit 395 at AAA. That's why they called him up. And now the family's a little looser, a little happier.
It's funny. I didn't even know those 3 had teeth. They didn't smile the first 2 days. Now they're all smiles. It's still fun to see. I don't care how long you play or whatever. You always look back and you know how exciting it is when you start your major league career.
That trio flew from Sacramento when they found out that David Cooper had been called up. Took the red eye and was here on time. There's a ground ball to third. Alex looks at second, fires to first, and gets Edwin Encarnacion for the out. Cooper advances to second. And you can see on that one, Alex looked at second, and standing at second was Robinson Cano pointing at first. Took a quick look, and then Cano had given him the directions, fire, and he did. Here's John McDonald. Grew up a huge Yankee fan in Connecticut. But he said, now I try to beat him. Count 0-1.
He's a nice player to have on your ball club. I mean, known as a defensive specialist, but his offensive game has gotten better the last couple of years. I remember I totally jinxed the Yankees. Said, "I'll just go right at this guy. He has no power." Next pitch ends up in the seats in the Rogers Center. Known as a guy who's going to hit a lot of home runs.
He had a good game yesterday, and we talked about he's getting this time out on the field because Aaron Hill's still injured, but you know, he made some good defensive plays, done some good things this weekend.
Blue Jays have struggled all weekend with runners in scoring position. Just 1 hit and 20 chances. 0 for 4 today. And now 0 for 5 as McDonald grounds out to Erod, and that will do it. No runs a hit, no errors, 1 man left. Let's go to the bottom of the 4th. 2-1 Toronto. Smokers Quick Line quiz answer, and both my guys think they have it. Cano in 09 and 10. Before him, who was the last second baseman, Major League Baseball have back-to-back 200-hit seasons. What was the one that came into your mind, John?
I thought Baerga right away.
Yep.
What do you think?
See that?
Wow.
We agreed on something up here, Flash, and we were right. Huh?
It only took 3 days.
A-Rod will lead off against Jesse Litch. Yankees trail by 1. A-Rod struck out in the first inning. 2-4-0, leading 1-2-0.
I'm kind of surprised it wasn't Alomar, too.
That's how I thought about Baerga, because I was trying to think of all the really good second basemen, and obviously with Toronto in town, Alomar comes to mind. Then you know, Alomar ended up in Cleveland, and then Baerga, I remember the big numbers he had there for a while.
Kind of watching this at bat for Alex Rodriguez. Kind of been scuffling a little bit lately. And maybe Litch throwing all those sliders and cutters, get him back out over the plate, ball the other way. Usually a good hitter's count here, 3-1, where you're going to get a fastball, but we haven't seen that from Litch this afternoon. A lot of cutters in this count.
Pop-up, left field. Rivera puts it away for the first out.
He didn't go with a cutter. I think it was a fastball.
That's a fastball, but his fastball almost kind of runs back in. Just didn't quite get it on the barrel. You saw he pulled his hands in to try to get the barrel of the bat on it, and just not quick enough. Good pitch.
Fouled away. Now Roberto Alomar is going to the Hall of Fame, and he has never had, we just looked it up, never had a 200 hit.
Yeah, that's surprising. He's supposed to be a switch hitter. He played every single day. Hit 330, 340 a couple years.
Count 1-1. Litch in 6 starts lifetime against the Yankees, 1-4, 5.72.
Mentioned in the G pitcher scouting report, he usually gets better as the game goes on. He's been pretty solid from the beginning here to the 4th inning.
Ground ball fair. Past Lynn, and it kicks off to the right fielder Bautista, and he spins and fires to second, holding Cano to a single.
Tell you what, the more you watch Bautista play, the more you're impressed with just he's a baseball player that has become a great hitter. But again, talking about great hitters, Robbie Cano rips one down the line. But again, he gets into position, doesn't even look at the runner, reverse pivot, just get rid of the ball. A lot of times as a fielder, you run over to get to the ball, you pick it up, you check where the runner is, the runner makes eye contact with, before you know, you've given him a couple steps, he might challenge you. As a fielder, get rid of the ball as quick as you can. A lot of times they won't even run on you.
Swisher takes high. 1-0. Grounded to Lynn. He goes to second one. On to first with Lynch covering. They got him. Turn a 3-6-1 double play. So 2 straight innings. The Yankees have ended the inning with a double play. Nice play by Lynn. Escobar waited for Lynch to get there and doubled them up. Tigers tomorrow starting pitchers brought to you by Verizon Fios. Get the ultimate in entertainment on the Ultimate Network. Fios, a network ahead. Bartolo Colon will take the mound again, this time against hard-throwing Justin Verlander. 2 good pitchers, 2 hard throwers. Our coverage begins at 6:30 right here on Yes. Pitch to Rajay Davis is inside 1-0, so the 5th inning begins. The Acela scoreboard, 2-4-0, leading 1-3-0. Line drive down the left field line. It's a base hit. Gardner fields. Davis makes a big turn, but he'll stop right there. Gardner makes a strong throw to Cano.
Nice play by Brett Gardner here. This is a fastball in. Back-to-back fastballs inside. Davis was ready. Right away you're thinking this is going to be a double, but Brett Gardner does a nice job getting to it quickly, and like you mentioned before, Paul, getting rid of a throw quickly, stopping Davis to a single.
Michael, you were talking about the pitching matchup for tomorrow, and you ended it with 2 hard throwers, and it's funny to me because during camp when you were talking about Colon and Garcia trying to be veterans and fill in some spots, you didn't think of him as that hard thrower back from the early 90s, but I mean his last couple games out there, he's back to pumping that fastball in the mid-90s.
Threw a couple of 97, and it moves too.
Yeah, it's not straight anymore.
Well, Davis has been on base 10 times this year. He scored 7. So he wreaks havoc on the bases.
Yeah, we talked about it all weekend. He usually doesn't wait around. Runs early in the count. Cervelli knows he's going. Tony Pena, the bench coach, probably giving signs to hold the running game. He knows he's going at some point. A lot of pressure on defense.
Bunted toward first base, but it's going to roll foul.
Again, that's I mean, Davis has been so successful. You hate to give up an out there, and looking back at yesterday, A.J. Burnett picking him off first base, probably one of the bigger plays in the game. It really doesn't show up in the box scores, but he had just given up a home run, and then all of a sudden could have become a big inning, and next thing you know, he picks him off, and that inning went on with nothing. A little shot of adrenaline as a catcher when you know a guy's going to try to steal on you.
Well, you know what? It reminds me that when you're throwing good, you're ready for it. You feel your arm feels good, your mechanics are right. It's just like hitting when you're going bad. You're like, oh no,
really?
He's out there again. I know he's running. I'm not throwing well.
I never thought of that. That's funny.
Sure.
A little throwing slump back there.
Of course. Cervelli had his problems last year throwing runners out, a little erratic.
6 attempts. He's been successful 5 so far this year. There he goes. Pitch is high. Throw to second. Got him. Great tag by Cano.
Well, Jack Curry said that Francisco Cervelli maybe is going to tone it down a little bit with the mannerisms, and he was excited but didn't show a whole lot of it there. Good pitch to throw on up in the zone. The throw is low, it bounces, but a great tag by Robinson Cano. Get the job done.
It's not as easy as it looked to go ahead and pick that ball out of the dirt, then make a tag.
Escobar grounds it to third. It's a foul ball. Wally Bell promptly put his hands up, signaling foul, but it's behind A-Rod, so he continued with the throw.
You look at Davis here, and he looks back, which flashed to me sometimes. I mean, most of the time, that's a hit and run. And or, you know, I got a terrible jump, please help me out. But you know, a lot of base stealers never look in. They're just staring at that base. But to me, when Davis looks back at the plate to see if it's put in play, might have been a hit and run.
Strike 3, Escobar down looking. All right, Nancy Newman, let's check it out. She has another update for us. What's up, Nance? All right, thank you, Nancy. 2-1 here, top of the 5th inning. Blue Jays lead, 2 outs, nobody on. And that's the situation Juan Bautista up with. Count 1-0.
Looking forward to this matchup this afternoon. I mean, Bautista hit a home run off of Nova last year, and if you remember, the next at bat, a pitch was up and in. Kind of showed me something about Nova. He wasn't afraid to throw inside. Bautista hit a hard line drive his first at bat that Curtis Granderson made a nice play on. Hitters count here 2-0.
Curveball, and it's funny because you look at yesterday with Soriano in the 8th inning, you know, big time of the game, went out, all fastballs, got him out, kind of got in on him in the fastball. Last time up, men in scoring position, Nova got him out with the fastball also.
They didn't want to give Bautista anything to drive, so they walk him.
Well, this was last year, August 23rd in Toronto. Bautista, no doubt about this one. Next at bat, Nova shows a little something. Not afraid to go up and in. Warnings. Bautista had his revenge later on against David Robertson. A little stare out to the mound. An interesting night in Toronto. Kind of got my attention that second at bat, though, Paul. You know, for a young kid coming up and throws that fastball in.
Pitch to Adam Lind is a strike. Lind's 2 for 2, a home run and a single to right. Big cut. And the count 0-2. Long look by Nova. Swing and a miss. Got him. So he strikes out Lind to end the inning. No runs to hit. No errors. 1 man left. This ball broke down and in. Swinging over the top was Lind, and we're halfway through. Yes, it's brought to you in part by Blimpie, America's Sub Shop, by Acura, Acura Advance, and by Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of the New York Yankees. On the Acela scoreboard, it's 2-1 Blue Jays over the Yanks as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. And Jorge Posada digs in. They are really shifting on Posada. The shortstop almost standing behind second base. Posada grounded to second in the second. He's 1 for his last 29.
They're giving you but do you take this? I mean, you're hitting 123 just to get one on the board, Paul.
If you could guarantee yourself that it's going to work, absolutely you'd take it. But if you're not accustomed to doing it, and you make a bad bunt and then you're 0 for 2, not even knowing how you
gave it away.
Oh my goodness. That's how you think, though. When you're, what was it, 1 for 20?
1 for 29. There's a base hit, and it's going to go into the corner. Posada rounds first. Is he going for 2? Yes, he is. Here's the throw from Bautista. A double for Posada. He hit it through the shift.
Was hit well, and he made a decision. He was going for 2. Good throw, probably had him, but you know what? To assume that it's always going to be a good throw. See the pitch just creeps inside, right out over the plate, though. Georgie turns on it. You can only put so many people on that right side, and they can't catch line drives. All right, Michael, you hear so much concern over Posada and his hitting, and Derek Jeter for that matter. Gardner's down a little bit. Swisher's down offensively. The overall picture of this year, who are you worried about the most as a fan? Because you kind of look at it as a fan.
Who am I worried about the most? Who do I don't know? I'm not sure he's going to turn it around.
Yeah, that would affect this team's success this year the most.
I think Jeter's going to hit enough that he will not affect the team's success. And I think that Gardner's on his way up. I think there's a lot of problems inherent if Jorge doesn't hit. I mean, do you have to sit down a veteran and put Chavez as a DH? That's the guy I would worry about the most. That he needs to turn it around.
And also, I mean, you've got to throw it into play that Jorge's in a completely different position now, and going into that DH thing. And so far, that it's been tough for him, but it's good to see him hit a line drive right there.
Is that your answer too?
I would think so. I agree with Jeter 100%. I think that Gardner can do so many things with his speed. I think that he'll get enough hits. I think Swisher, his last couple years, he's put a track record together. But again, they're all in the situations they were before, where Georgie's not in this DH role.
How about you, John?
Well, my thought is always to Swisher. I mean, he had such a great year hitting in that 2-hole. I think for him moving down in the lineup now, and I hate to say he's on his own, but he's going to see a lot more breaking balls this year, and see if he can repeat what he did last year.
3-1 to Gardner.
Look at this situation here. Brett Gardner probably trying to hit a ball to the right side to get Jorge Posada to third, but Adam Lynn kind of playing in close to the grass. A ground ball to him, not a guarantee Jorge Posada is going to get to third base. See how it plays out. Encarnacion in on the grass.
Line drive, a base hit to right field. Bautista comes up throwing. They hold Posada, and the Yankees are set up. First and third, and nobody out.
A couple good hits from guys that have just come into our conversation this inning about struggling a little bit, but Brett Gardner turns on one.
Did a nice job getting in a hitter's count and getting deep into the count. That's what we saw from Brett last year. Early on this year, kind of getting behind in the count early. Defensive at bats, and now Francisco Cervelli finds himself in a pretty good situation to hit. First and third, nobody out.
Well, the Yankees want to stay away from the double play. It's hurt them in the previous 2 innings. Ended the third and ended the fourth. Now, what does Cervelli do at the plate? Does he bunt Gardner over to second, or does he just swing away? They're playing for the double play. Yankees are down by 1. The old fake to third and fake to first, made famous by Jeff Nelson.
So, Michael, you're saying to lay down a bunt to keep Gardner, or keep him out of the double play, the possibility?
I was just wondering if you would do that.
It's interesting. We've seen a lot of, the safety squeeze bunts this year in baseball. That's an option here, although Posada doesn't run all that well.
There's a ground ball into the hole at short. They're going to make 1 out. That's going to be it first. Scoring. Posada, RBI ground out by Cervelli, and it's a 2-2 game.
Tell you what, that looks like just a 6-3 in the paper, but that's a good play.
Going to his right, and Escobar guy Brian Butterfield, the infield instructor for the Blue Jays, talking about the possibility of a Gold Glove, and you can see why. Getting to the ball and then showing plenty of arm strength across the diamond. Impressive play.
All right, so Gardner is now at second, and here's Jeter. Jeter grounded to short, and he was hit by a pitch. 2-2 game, bottom of the 5th.
Again, this would be a great time for Gardner to try to get on to a stolen base. Gives it an easier at bat for Jeter just to try to get him in. That's how you try to help guys get through times. I mean, it's ideal situation to hit with a 1 out, man on third. So many good things can happen. You feel good about yourself just hitting a sacrifice fly.
Pitch is low. So a double by Posada, a single by Gardner, a ground out by Cervelli, and the Yankees have tied the game, and they're looking for more here in the bottom of the 5th. Each team with 5 hits, each team with 2 runs. Talking with Kevin Long about Jeter, and they were talking together, and Jeter said, I feel a lot better with 2 strikes. And Kevin said, well, what are you doing with 2 strikes? He said, well, I'm spreading out a little bit more. So Kevin said, then just spread out when you get to the plate. He goes, and I think that that's what he feels most comfortable. He said, you're going to see him start to hit a lot better as well. He said, because if you spread out that much, you're not going to be able to really stride that much.
Yeah, the less your stride is, the more your head moves, the more your body moves, the more time you have to pick up the baseball. And you know, the guys that have those big, long strides, they do have power, but it is tough to hit that way.
Tough pitch here. 2-0, a little slider down and away. You get a look at really no stride, and Derek didn't look real pleased with this call.
That's a tough one to hit right there.
The 2-1 inside, 3-1. Hot shot to short. They're going to go to third, and they will not get Gardner. You wonder what Escobar's thinking there. You take the out at first, runners at third with 2 outs. So he tries to make a tough play, and now he's got Litch in a bigger jam.
Well, again, I mean, this play is made for one thing, and that's Brett Gardner's speed. 9 out of 10 guys he'll throw out easily here, but I do agree with you, Michael. I think you just take the ground out, the out at first, let your pitcher get an opportunity to get himself out of the inning.
Now, John, did Gardner make a mistake trying to go to third with the ball hit in front of him?
Well, I mean, simple base running. If the ball is hit to your right, if you're taking your lead off of second base, you're not supposed to go to third. But there's a difference when you run like Brett Gardner. You can force the issue. And a good throw probably gets him. But, Paul, like you mentioned before, you can't just assume that every throw is going to be a good one.
Yeah, this throw is on the the left side of the bag. Gardner made a good slide to the inside part of the bag. Encarnacion was not able to get the ball over there quick enough.
So Jeter reaches on the fielder's choice, and now here's Granderson. Now let's check this out with the Coors Light freeze cam. And freeze it right there. You can see the hands there before the glove touches the shoulder.
It's the old saying, you give good teams extra outs, usually comes back to bite you. We'll see what happens here in the 5th.
Granderson put on a power display during batting practice. Yankees had optional batting practice today at 10:30, and it seemed like most of them were out there. But Gardner was putting a lot in the seats. Or should I say Granderson? Yankees are 2 for 5 with runners in scoring position today.
This whole series seems like it's breaking down to both teams really not able to have that huge inning. Many opportunities to score runs and not really able to throw the inning up in 4 or 5 runs and getting the big hits with men in scoring position with 2 outs.
So 3-0, they turned him loose, and he threw something off speed that wasn't fastball. And Granderson way out in front. Casey Jansen warming for the Blue Jays. Line drive down the right field line, but foul. In these situations, Billy Martin used to have a play, especially with a fast runner at third. He'd have the runner at first base take off and fall down. And then the Blue Jays would have to make a decision. Are they throwing through? And Gardner's just taking off. And Billy would just have the runner just fall down between first and second and make the defense have to make a play. Let's see if Jeter's going on 3-2. Blue Jays might think he is.
Buck Showalter one day in a scouting meeting before we played the White Sox said, if we get an opportunity late in the game, I want you to intentionally get picked off and make Frank Thomas throw you out at second. Gerald Williams, 8th inning, tie game, something like that, gets picked off. Frank Thomas throws it into left center field. He ends up at third. We score a run, win by 1. So these things come to play so much more.
That one is hit to right field and deep. Going back, Bautista on the track, looking up. See ya! A 3-run home run for Granderson, and the Yankees lead 5-2. So he takes the power from BP and uses it in the game.
Curtis Granderson got ahead in the count 3-0 and worked it all the way back to 3-2. And gets a fastball right down the middle, and he does not miss it. Again, we talk about the extra outs that the Blue Jays have given the Yankees this inning. Curtis Granderson makes Jesse Lynch pay.
Teixeira rips one deep to right. That ball is a foul ball.
You saw that ball to Granderson's really the first four-seam fastball that had no movement from Litch all day, and ended up in the seats. See that just rotation, just ball sitting right there. Great feeling as a hitter. Bautista didn't move much. I thought he had a play on it. That ball was way out of reach.
The 0-1. Rounded right into the teeth of the shift. And McDonald throws out Teixeira for the second out. 8 home runs for Curtis Granderson and 18 runs batted in.
Different personality from where he was last year at this time. Remember, he got off to such a tough start. Had to dig his way out of a hole the whole second half of the year.
Here's Alex Rodriguez against Litch. Now, you can't say that everything would have happened the same way, but if they would have just taken the out at first base, the home run is a 2-run home run and not a 3-run home run. The same pitches probably aren't made, but it does bear thinking about it. And one of the concerns that the Blue Jays have about Escobar is that he's so talented and has such a great arm that sometimes he gets lazy with his footwork and relies on the arm too much. And I think that was a clear case of that. The 0-2. What a difference a year makes. Granderson hits his 8th home run on May 1st. He didn't hit his 8th last year until July 25th. 0-1-2. Remember, the year before the Yankees got Granderson with the Tigers, he had 30 home runs in a very big ballpark, Comerica Park. He was hurt last year for about a month. Also struggled when he was healthy. Maybe he puts a 30 on the board again. As Alex swings and misses, and Alex is now 0-3. But the Yankees get 4 runs, 3 of them on one swing. Curtis Granderson, a 3-2 pitch, deposits it into the seats, and the Yankees at the end of 5, they lead this one 5-2. Again, the question, which of these injured players due back soon will have the biggest impact upon returning? You've been texting us at 58772. Here's how you voted. A close vote. 46% think it's Evan Longoria, and the Rays have played well without him. Zach Greinke for the Brewers and then Neftali Feliz for the Texas Rangers. 5-2 as we go to the top of the 6th inning. Ivan Nova has a chance to pick up his second victory of the year, and he'll deal with Juan Rivera to lead off. And there's a strike as Rivera shows a bunt.
Big spot in the game for Nova here. His last outing went 6 1/3. Here he finds himself in the 6th inning with a 3-run lead.
It's
kind of been a problem for him in his young career, getting through a lineup a couple of times, but outstanding. 45 strikes, 28 balls, pitch count in great shape at 73.
Threw 92 pitches last time, 1 out into the 7th inning. That's the deepest he's ever gone in a game. Breaking ball was high and inside. Joe Girardi, and we heard from him at the start of the game, says he didn't want to make excuses, as you see Soriano getting loose. Didn't want to make excuses, but he felt that the cold weather and the wet weather did not help Ivan Nova. He said Nova has not said anything, and there he drops a breaking ball on the outside corner to freeze Rivera for the first out. And the last 2 starts he's made, it's been beautiful weather.
I'll tell you what, the last 2 starts he's had that curveball, and you see that this is such a good curveball because you see it just locks up hitters. You don't even get swings on it, and it big break.
Here's JP Arancibia.
I'm just having flashbacks to all those times in Tampa where working with a young staff and some of the thoughts that go through pitchers' minds. The kid out here just gets a 3-run lead, and the thought is, if I can get through this inning, I have a good chance for a win.
That one's driven into right field. It's a base hit. Fielding it out there is Swisher, and Arancibia picks up a double.
Instead of thinking pitch to pitch, almost thinking about the end result. If I can get 3 outs, get through the 6, I got a 3-run lead. I'm in good shape with my bullpen. All of a sudden, Arancibia gets a fastball out over and drives it the other way. Michael, getting back to Joe Girardi's comments about Nova, I don't think I've played with any players that said, I love it when it's freezing cold and rainy out there. I mean, it's a problem for everybody at the beginning of the year.
To the point where in the offseason when the schedule came out, I couldn't wait to get to see where you opened up. And if you opened up in California or opened up in a dome, such an advantage. I mean, everybody loves to play at home. But, you know, you can play at home in June and July when it's 80 degrees, too, and it makes it much nicer early in the year.
It seemed that during the championship run, Paul, it seemed like the Yankees always open on the West Coast.
It's nice, man.
The year that you guys won 125 games open on the West Coast, you were 1-4. When there was that meeting. And
yeah, that's right.
Things turned around.
Is it the year we opened up in San Diego for some exhibition games?
I believe it was.
we ended up.
The bus almost tipped over.
Yeah, the bus went up on one of the medians. Jeff Nelson asked the bus driver, "What do you think is a monorail?" We were like hanging on one of those things, man. I think that's when we walked across the line. We had to get out of the bus and walk. Oh man, 3 o'clock in the morning, a little walk on the street.
Well, I think that the team, if you remember, Paul, the team had landed at Mexico.
Yeah, we had to walk across to the booth or whatever.
And the only reason the Yankees were able to get through was because the Mexican border guards recognized Don Zimmer because of his head. And
it's him.
The 3-1 fouled away, and also the bus that almost tipped over was the player bus.
Yeah.
And running up the bus and onto the coaches and the staff bus was David Wells.
Boomer.
Yeah.
My first thought was they let him back in the country.
Yes.
So he got through?
Yeah, Mexico didn't want him, man. It was just a start to a great season, you know?
Yep. Popped up. Gardner shading his eyes from the sun. Puts it away.
Yesterday, the players at the 4 o'clock game were having all kind of trouble out in center field. Now it's the true 1 o'clock start. Left field's the Sun field.
Boomer made it out of Mexico to become a broadcaster. How about that?
Did you ever?
No.
Ever?
No. But the guy was sitting next to, I didn't think either would be a broadcaster.
Yeah, but you know what? Boomer, I'm sure, takes advantage of the 7-second delay. Huh? Don't you definitely have to have the 7-second delay when Boomer's calling a game?
There's a strike to Encarnacion. Fouled away. Let's take a look at all of our announcers. There's Paul O'Neill and John Flaherty and Jack Curry, and unfortunately I have to put my big head there as well.
On top of us all.
Yeah, just smothering you guys.
Look, Jack Curry's in the basement and you're in the penthouse. Look at it.
Top of the 6th, Yankees are leading 5-2, and you're watching Yankees baseball on Yes. We thank you for joining us. And back in the studio, of course, is Nancy Newman. Grounded foul. Paul, when you were playing, there's no way you thought you'd be a broadcaster.
You know, it's funny because everybody thinks about how, that's just naturally what you do. You just go up and start calling games. You can't play them anymore. But, does it happen all the time? No, but I didn't give it much thought, really.
If you had, you would have been nicer to the media. Popped up. Cano is there, and that will do it. No runs in, no errors, and 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the 6th, 5-2 Yanks. 24th for a special giveaway when the Yankees take on the Blue Jays again. The first 20,000 guests in attendance receive a Yankees grass seed planter with a packet of actual Yankee Stadium grass seed mix that you can grow at home courtesy of Scott's. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Yankees showing some muscle today with the long ball. Mark Teixeira and Curtis Granderson as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Mess with that kid. He's ready. 5-6-0, leading 2-6-0. And Robinson Cano will lead off. Swings at the first pitch and pops it up. On the battle of the sun, Escobar will make the play. There's Nick Swisher. He is 0 for 2. Line back to the mound. Nice play by Litch in the 2nd inning, and then wrapped into a 3-6-1 double play. Wrap foul. Pitches for Jesse Litch. The 5th his big pitch inning with 26 when the Yankees scored 4 runs to take the lead. Yankees led 1-0 after 1 on the Teixeira home run, but the Blue Jays scored a run in the 2nd, a run in the 3rd to take a 2-1 lead. That held up until the 5th. An RBI ground out by Cervelli, then a 3-run home run by Granderson, and the Yankees lead 5-2. Swing and a miss. Swisher down on strikes.
The pitch is up in the zone, and Nick Swisher, it seems like he's having trouble with kind of working underneath. Swisher did a nice job of getting on top of some of these fastballs, working underneath and pulling off a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like that front hip we kind of drew a picture yesterday's opening a little bit, and when that happens, that bat drags a little bit, causes you to get under the ball like you talked about, a little longer swing, and get beat with a fastball.
Here's Jorge Posada, started the Yankees 4-run fifth inning with a clean double to right field. He was 1 for 29 coming into that at bat. What would you, at what point would you start to take notice? 0 for 8, 0 for 10? 10,
I mean, 10, when you got to double figures, it kind of rang a bell for me. I don't know about you, Flash, but 20 was like, that's doomsday. But 0 for 10, it starts getting in your head.
You know what? I was lucky enough to be able to work with pitchers, so I don't think I thought about it as much. Tying Joe DiMaggio, pretty impressive right there in games played. But I actually went through an 0 for 24 and I knew I was struggling, but didn't know about it until ESPN reminded me when I was getting ready for a day game.
You knew you were struggling, you just didn't know where.
Who's hot and who's not.
Yeah, those are always nice, weren't they?
You never want to be not.
No.
So you knew you were struggling.
I knew I was struggling, but it was 0 for 24 at that point.
And you went out and got a hit that day, didn't you?
Well, I'm sure I did.
Wanted to get off the list.
I was just thinking about Jorge. That last at bat, it's a nice double. You can breathe a little bit easier. Look forward to the rest of the game. Look forward to your road trip coming up.
There's a ground ball and grabbed there by McDonald. Nice play.
See a minute. This is a hitter's. It's back to reality. A guy steals one from him.
Yankees go down in order 1, 2, 3. Posada hitting the ball better though as we go to the 7th inning here at the stadium. Good play by John McDonald ends the bottom of the 6th with the Yankees up 5-2. Remind you, there are ways to save money. You can conserve energy in your home. You can save up to $700 on your energy bills and make your home safer and cooler this summer. To learn more, go to getenergysmart.org. Cadillac scoreboard has the Yankees up 5-2. So the longest outing that Ivan Nova's ever had, 1 out into the 7th inning. That was his last start. Trying to better that right here. Very often the guy makes a great play to end an inning, leads off, and that's what's happening here with John McDonald. Count 2-0.
I was just thinking it's been a nice game of adjustments for Nova and Cervelli behind the plate. Early on, fastballs were up in the zone. They went to the breaking ball in the middle of the game. Now a few fastballs missed down, so good adjustments.
There's a strike. David Robertson warming in the Yankee bullpen. Two and two.
Such a luxury when you have a good bullpen as a catcher. You start thinking about the game a little bit differently, and you see the pitches by inning. We'll work in the 2nd and 3rd and figure it out in the middle of the game. But you start thinking, if you're Cervelli, if I can get this kid through 6, I feel good about it. Now this is like bonus time.
So in other words, you're patting yourself on the back there as a catcher.
That's a game plan. If I can get a young kid through 6 innings with my bullpen, this Yankee bullpen, you feel good about it.
You've thrown a pitch all day when you're trying to get this kid through these things.
Well, and then the other way, when it doesn't go well, you're blaming yourself for it. So
put down the wrong fingers.
Right.
High fly ball down the left field line, but no one can get there.
Pitcher-catcher thing's a weird relationship, isn't it, Michael? Did you hear about these words that you just don't associate with baseball, like trust and things like that?
Well, it's funny, our buddy David Wells we talked about early on.
Right.
He was one of those guys who would throw anything you put down there.
Right.
And then when he had a good game, he would talk about how great he was. And then if it didn't go well, he would talk about, I shouldn't have thrown that curveball in that spot or that fastball in that spot.
Well, what I'm learning, Paul, all great relationships are based on trust.
Yeah. Why are you looking at me when you say that, man? It's kind of eerie up here.
There's David. Popped up. Gardner comes a long way to make the play. Take the Yankees with you when you travel out of the Yankees home territory. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see Yankees games live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit Yankees.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Here's Davis.
I'll tell you what, that curveball has been consistent all day, and he's earlier in the game was just using it as an out pitch. It's good to see him use that early in the count too.
Dropping it in there for a strike.
He's trying to do something he's never done before, get a second out here in the 7th inning. Stretching him out, full-fledged starter. A lot of responsibility comes with that. That's a breaking ball that didn't bite.
As a hitter, you're not going to stick around and see if that thing's going to start biting and breaking in there. It looks like it's coming at you. But Davis, I've been really impressed with what he's done this series, what he brings to this team. One of their better players on the field, Vernon Wells, who they got rid of over the year or the offseason, went out to Anaheim. And Davis looks like he can do a lot of things to help this offense.
They didn't have him for a lot of April. He was on the 15-day DL with a right ankle problem. And now they put him on base. That's the last guy you want to put on base in this lineup. So he's on base for the 3rd time out of 4 trips to the plate. So maybe the people evaporated. Just shirts are on the seats right now.
That's the core right there. That's our future seat.
I guess.
The core seats, yeah.
Key 3 now.
I heard you. What'd you say? The DJ
3K.
DJ 3K. It took me about 5 miles on the hutch to figure out what you were talking about.
That's Derek's chase for 3,000, which they have on ESPNNewYork.com. And Joe Girardi is going to take out Nova. They had him throw over to first just so Robertson would get more throws in the bullpen. So Robertson will take over for Nova, and Nova now maxed his career high, 1 out in the 7th. He thanks his infielders, and he will head to the dugout and get himself a nice hand. The call to the bullpen brought to you by AT&T. So David Robertson will come on. See what Robertson has done. Robertson really beat himself up for a shaky performance on Friday when he made a throwing error to second base, and that allowed 2 runs to eventually score. They ended up both being earned runs. Those are the only runs that he's allowed this year. 9 in the 3rd, 12 strikeouts. So he inherits Rajay Davis at first and Yunel Escobar at the plate. Yankees lead 5-2. There's a breaking ball with no bite.
3-run lead, and you always know where Bautista is. He's on deck. But you see the numbers for Nova. Very similar the last 2 times out.
How about the Yankee starters? They've completed at least 6 innings in 9 of their last 10 games. That'll get it done and also not wear down your bullpen. Escobar defected from Cuba in October of 2004. One of 35 people on a 25-foot boat. Landed in Florida and actually was drafted by the Atlanta Braves. And here he is. Runner goes. Fouled away into the Yankee dugout, and I think it might have gotten Larry Rothschild on the way by. Seems like he's okay. Joe immediately reached over, so you're all right.
Probably somebody laying down in the tunnel over there is who it got.
God, Larry's playing it off pretty well.
Not too long ago, those screens weren't up at ballparks. Amazing that people didn't get hurt. More people didn't get hurt. I think the thing that started the Yankees to put the screen up was when Don Zimmer got hit and then wore that helmet the next day on the bench. And that was in a postseason game, I believe. Had the Army helmet the next day with the MY on it. Runner goes, throw to second. Not in time.
Well, that's a true base stealer right there, that you have the green light when your team's down 3 runs. You know, this is how they're going to score runs. We talked about it. Farrell, new manager, is going to change things up. I'll tell you what, Cervelli's getting rid of that ball quick, Flash. Hasn't been the greatest of throws as far as not short hopping, but he's getting rid of the ball quick.
Well, they're accurate as far as on the bag, and you see in the Yesmo the tag of Robinson Cano. I mean, 2 times he's done a great job. The pick and the quick tag. It's a little late there.
Rajay Davis told Jack Curry on Friday, you have to get over the fear that you might get caught. There's a risk with everything. If you don't take risk, you don't get benefits.
Really? That was from the King.
Rajay that was from the King. Rajay means king in Sanskrit.
Escobar becomes such an important at bat with Bautista on deck. 3-run lead. Bullpen's going for the Yankees. Lefty Boone Logan, righty Rafael Soriano.
2-2. Swing and a miss. Got him. For the second out. All right, before it happens, let's manage here. Yankees have a 3-run lead. You never want to put the tying run and have it come to the plate. Do you deal with Bautista here?
Oh, yeah, sure.
I think you have to. I think that you go after him hard early in the count, and then if you fall behind, then you take your chances at trying to throw some perfect pitches. But I think for strike 1 or strike 2, you go right after him right here.
All right, so what are you looking for? Strike 1, strike 2, fastball inside?
Well, he's such a pull hitter. We've already talked about that. You know, as a catcher, you're always trained in these situations. Keep him to the big part of the field. Don't give him a chance to hit a 2-run homer or a 3-run homer if you had a chance to tie it up. So I'd be surprised if they give him more pitches inside early. Probably away early, inside late.
And they go with the breaking ball away.
It makes it a whole lot easier when you get that strikeout of Escobar. It could be a little more aggressive.
Wondering if Bautista's kind of a guess hitter, because you see him take certain pitches. You know, that's a 1-0 fastball that a lot of power hitters are just wailing on and trying to. It seems like he's looking for certain pitches, especially early in the count, and if he doesn't get it, you know, he's taking it, whether it's a fastball or a curveball. And to be good at that, I mean, it takes a really, really good patient hitter.
Didn't you tell me Tino was a great base hitter?
Yeah, Tino, and he couldn't change because he had a feeling, and if he got a slider and he was looking at a slider, it usually ended up in the seats. And Jorge's a guess hitter. You'll see Jorge sometimes take a fastball right down the middle of the plate. It's not what he's looking for. Sometimes it's with 2 strikes too. It's just the way certain people hit.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at second. Yankees up 5-2. Top of the 7th. The pitch. Right in on the hands, fouled away, so they are going right after Bautista. And as John said, getting Escobar made that a little easier.
Yeah, and it was a perfect pitch, 2-1 down and away, and he comes back with probably an even better pitch, 2-2. Fastball in that beats Bautista. You can see him pull his hands in just to foul it off. Another sign of a good hitter when you get a tough pitch, being able to foul it off to get another look. I believe he's probably set up for that curveball.
2-2. Fastball is low, so the count is full.
I'm almost thinking they've gotten him out with fastballs late in the count the last couple of days. If he's almost like Manny Ramirez in the old days, Manny Ramirez, the best time to get him out with a fastball was late in the count. He looked dead slider, dead breaking ball with 2 strikes.
3-2. One with a breaking ball, so Bautista walks. He has now walked 30 times this year, 2 times today. And Joe Girardi is going to go to the bullpen. With Adam Lind due up, he is going to bring in Boone Logan. So Robertson loses Bautista, and with Lind as the tying run, he wants to bring in the lefty to try to neutralize him. So stick around. It's getting good. Yankees lead 5-2. In part by J&R Music and Computer World, and by Toyota, the official hybrid of the New York Yankees. Sunday afternoon in New York City. Yankees lead by 3, and they bring in Boone Logan to keep it at that. 9 games, 1-1. He's pitched better of late. He's going to face Adam Lind. It's so important for the Blue Jays for Adam Lind to be a dangerous player so that you can't do what the Yankees just did and walk Bautista. Now, they do it on purpose. They tried to get him out, but they tried to make perfect pitches. Now, for the Blue Jays to succeed this year, Adam Lind has to make teams pay. There's a strike. And he's already walked 30 times since May 1st. Now they have Corey Patterson pinch running for Jose Bautista.
Why?
I don't get that.
Never understood these kind of moves. I mean, because your big thing right now is to try to tie the game back up. You tie the game back up, you've lost your best hitter.
Also,
he might get a chance to hit again.
Right, it's not even a tying run. I mean, if it was a tying run, maybe you could explain it, but and we don't know if he's hurt. Maybe right. Bautista's hurt, so we'll reserve judgment. But if he's not hurt, it doesn't make any sense. Ground ball. Oh, what a play by Logan. He didn't even know he had it. And he gets the final out of the inning. He had his back turned to home plate, and the ball just found the glove. Watch Logan's reaction. He doesn't know where it is. Then he finds it, and he says, oh, look what I have. And the Yankees have themselves the end of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. And a serendipitous play by Boone Logan ends the top of the 7th. At the end of 6.5, time for the 7th inning stretch at the stadium. Yankees lead 5-2, but we'll stay right here to honor America in the Bronx.
And around the globe. Thank you. Now joining King Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
At the Yankee Stadium, Yankees lead 5-2, and today after the postgame, don't miss an all-new WB Mason presents the Joe Girardi Show. Joe's going to sit down and discuss the best plays and moments from the first month of the season. Plus, he'll answer your questions submitted on Facebook and Twitter. It's a new Joe Girardi Show today after the postgame, only on Yes. Jesse Litch still out there as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Litch has thrown 83 pitches. And he'll face 8, 9, and 1 in the Yankee order. Gardner, Cervelli, and Jeter. Cadillac scoreboard, 5-2 Yanks. 1-0.
87 pitches for Litch to this point. Blue Jays used a lot of their bullpen yesterday. We're heading to Tampa for another series after this.
Corey Patterson, who pinch ran for Bautista, takes over from left, and Juan Rivera moves from left to right where Bautista was. There's a strike, and Gardner can't believe it. Did you feel comfortable arguing calls, Paul, when you were a young player, or did you feel you needed a long time in the majors before you could do that?
Much more comfortable later. I mean, you were on first name basis with him by then. But early in your career, way back, if you said a word to him as a rookie, I mean, they'd get you intentionally, and I still to this day disagree with it. I mean, it's like almost like a hazing thing. You couldn't open your mouth as a rookie. I mean, you worked all the way through the minor leagues to get there, and now you can't question a pitch. And in the old days, it was that way.
(3-2) to Gardner. Fouled away.
To make up for it late in your career, right, Flash?
Well, I remember times where they would call pitches off the plate just to see if you would say something as a rookie. Just to kind of test you, get a feel for you. And I was lucky enough behind the plate to get a relationship with a lot of the guys, where you're working during a game, you can talk to them. And it's amazing how quick word spreads around the league, right? About what type of player or personality you are.
Gardner walks. I would think that's an incredibly tough feeling out process for a catcher, a young catcher, because you've got to question calls.
Oh, you're scared to death, too.
Yeah. Gardner has now been on base in 11 of his last 14 plate appearances, and Joe Girardi had said earlier this is the Gardner that we were expecting. So Gardner's walk knocks Jesse Litch out of the game. John Farrell will go to the bullpen. We'll be back. Title significance when Arsenal hosts Manchester United at the Emirates. With only 4 games left, the Gunners continue their chase of United, hoping for the valuable points that could decide the league champions. It all kicks off tomorrow night at 11, right here on Yes. Yankee Stadium is the venue. A Sunday afternoon in New York City. As the Yankees lead the Blue Jays 5-2, the Yankees have knocked out the Blue Jays starter Jesse Litch, and John Farrell calls on one of his right-handers in the bullpen, Casey Jansen. Good numbers for Jansen. After a walk to Gardner, leading off the 3rd inning, Cervelli laid down a sack. Let's see if he does that here, just to get an insurance run for the Yankee bullpen.
Always like Cervelli. He's a hit-and-run type guy. Shoot the ball the other way. The situation here, Brett Gardner should take Davis's advice right here, huh? You can't be afraid to get thrown out. You got a 3-run lead, leading off an inning.
I mean, you got to know your strength. You're the fastest guy on the team. It's your strength. You use it. And if you get thrown out, you get thrown out. But, I mean, chances are with his speed, more times than not, he's going to be safe.
Runner goes to the second. They got him.
But see, he listened to his Flash, and now he's walking back to the dugout.
But you know what? He had a bad jump. You like the mentality, but had a bad jump and a pitch out. And Jansen gets rid of it in good shape. You can see not the best jump for Brett Gardner. But I still think he just needs to be more aggressive. That's fine for me.
No, he checked this way. Here you go.
He's trying to duck under the tag. Oh, my. I was never the best at the head first slide. You?
No, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I didn't have enough speed, enough momentum to do it that way.
Gardner is just 4 for 8 in stolen base attempts this year. 1-1. With his speed, that's a little strange. You wouldn't think he'd be caught half the time. Also, at a certain percentage, as Soriano's ready to come in and pitch the 8th, it doesn't become a smart thing to do. I mean, we're talking about how the Blue Jays have been caught a lot. You can try to wreak havoc on the bases, but if you're going to get caught a lot, you can kill yourself. You're going to knock yourself out of rallies. What would you say is a percentage? 70%?
70, 75.
But to me, it's funny because, I mean, the best catcher in the league every year, what's the percentage?
Well, if you throw out 30, you're great.
Yeah, 30%. So to me, stolen bases should be, I mean, used more because your best catchers in the league are throwing out 30% of the runs.
Now, as a reference point, Gardner last year had 47 stolen bases, and he was caught 9 times. So he's 4 for 8 this year. This is one of the best slides I've ever seen. Game 5.
Oh, this is the trouble with being a line drive hitter. See, it doesn't go out of the park. Then you got to invent trick slides here because you're out.
Oh, I don't know how you didn't rip your shoulder out of your socket.
I hurt my phone. That same dirt that was on Gardner's face.
Can you imagine? That would have been the last out of the season.
Yeah.
You would have been kicking yourself.
No, you would have just been blasting me up here, too. You know that? Huh?
Not at all.
Bonehead play. I can hear it already. You were radio back then, right?
Yep. Sterling was killing it. I could have heard it now. I don't understand. The season's on the line.
That's pretty good.
And he tries to go for a die. It'll be a 2-1. It doesn't make sense.
That's nice.
I mean, that'll end the season. The 1-1. 1-2. Yankees lead 5-2. We are in the bottom of the 7th. Each team with 6 hits, but the Yankees have a couple of home runs. A solo shot by Teixeira and a 3-run shot by Granderson that broke the 2-2 tie. The 1-2. Jeter fouls it away. Swing and a miss. The ball comes right back to Aaron Sebia, and Jeter's going to reach. So it's a strikeout wild pitch allowing Jeter to reach first.
I don't know that I've ever seen a strike 3 where the catcher has to wait for the ball to rebound it and can't get Jeter first. High bounce and get up.
Frustrating for both Jansen and Aaron Sebia behind the plate. You execute, you get a strikeout. Wild pitch, Derek at first base, and hot hitting Curtis Granderson coming up. Already has a 3-run homer.
If you look at one of the strengths of this Blue Jay team, it happens to be their bullpen. And John Farrell says, we knew with our young staff, all 5 of their starters, the oldest is 26, that we couldn't abuse them. And we wanted to have a lot of arms in the bullpen so we could get the starters when they started to struggle without pushing them. And they've really collected a pretty decent amount of arms out there that can throw hard and get outs. Yesterday, I believe it was 5 1/3 no-hit innings.
You know, come June or July, that phone will be ringing off the wall, especially if Toronto doesn't stay in the race. Other teams looking for pitching. Some of these guys, you're right, they're quality arms.
2-0. Not 2-1. And a broken bat for Granderson.
Flash, I don't know if you've been down in the clubhouse today. Did you? I was just down there, just popped in my mind. Robbie Kakuza unleashed his own shirt today. The clubhouse man's got his own shirt.
His own shirt.
I saw that.
The Robbie Kakuza special. That's when you know you're getting large.
It's the bat with the Yankee top hat logo on it, and then the bat serves as the backbone for the R, and then there's a C for Robbie Kakuza.
The best, right? Has there ever been that? Have you ever seen it?
You would think that there'd be a couple up in the booth for 3 people.
Well, there might be one on the way to Cincinnati, Ohio, as we speak, but I don't know if there's any coming up your way.
See that? If I would have went down there, I would have looked out for you.
Absolutely, and I would have looked out for you.
All right, both of you. That's enough. We're late in the game now. Let's not ruin it.
The 3-1. Swing and a miss.
3-2.
Foul back.
Well, Michael, after hopefully for Yankee fans, the Yankees finish this one off, then you can tune into the big anticipated series with the Celtics and the Heat. Oh, look at that. That's that shout out wipe that I was using early in the game.
Somehow it got in Alex's helmet.
I don't know how it ended up in Alex's helmet.
3-2. Foul back. Oh, he took it out. Shouted it out. So the runner will go on 3-2. And he'll do it again.
Michael, what do you call this? We started this game with that perfect blue sky. What's this turned into?
Kind of overcast.
Oh, no, you got a little more fancy than that. Overcast. Come on.
Brush strokes of clouds.
Brush strokes of clouds.
3-2. Granderson really making Jansen work.
Become a good time to hit, though, right, Flash? Get rid of those shadows. Get rid of the bright.
Nice battle here for Granderson, too. Casey Jansen not shying away, just coming right at him with fastball after fastball. Derek Jeter getting his sprints in at first base.
Now we just find out that Jose Bautista left the game for a pinch runner with neck tightness. So we're glad we gave the caveat. If he's hurt, then we understand. If he's not, we don't. So he is hurt. That's why they took him out.
No, Flash and I gave him that option. You were just telling him, I just don't understand why he's doing this, right?
That's not true. Watch the tape. Runner goes. High fly ball. Patterson is there. Puts it away for the final out. No runs, no hits, no errors, one man left. Let's take this baby to the 8th inning. Yankees lead 5-2. You to vote along with us for the Chevy Player of the Game. You can text your vote to 58772 or vote online at yesnetwork.com. And today's candidates are number 1, Ivan Nova, number 2, Curtis Granderson, number 3, Mark Teixeira, number 4, Adam Lind. Vote now, make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. So David Robertson and Boone Logan worked through a scoreless 7th inning. Now Bautista left the game in the 7th, then kind of trying to stretch his neck out, and that was in the 1st inning, and obviously came back to haunt him a little bit later on, so they took him out of the game. Now Rafael Soriano takes over to pitch the 8th. And Rivera fouls it away. Soriano's numbers: 13 hits and 11 in the 3rd, 8 walks and 7 strikeouts. He pitched yesterday, pitched a scoreless 8th, but did allow a single to Lind. Pitches inside.
Pitched the 8th inning yesterday with a 1-run lead and did a nice job here. A 3-run lead, a little bit of a cushion.
Don't you think that you go in and everybody was kind of just hoping he got through that inning yesterday to change things, but don't you think it takes 2 or 3 consecutive things to really get it on your mind that you're back?
That was drilled to left field. Oh, what a play by Gardner. He got a great jump. Gardner's playing an exemplary left field.
But that ball was hit hard too. Didn't have a lot of time to get back on it. But again, we've talked about his speed on the bases. Well, it shows up in the outfield too. Quick jumps.
In the air. Comes down with the baseball. Here's JP Arancibia. He is 1 for 3 with a double. Fastball is in on the hands and fouled back.
You know, a lot has been made about Soriano making this transition from a closer last year to a setup guy this year, and obviously not being a pitcher or relief guy. I don't see what the big deal is, right? You go in and pitch late in games. This would be a safe situation if it was the 9th. 3-run lead.
Yeah, I think you're just going to have to play a game mentally to tell yourself, you know, the importance of getting to Mariano.
Yeah.
And not that you're saving the, you know, if it's an ego thing or whatever, that I want the saves. He came here knowing he wasn't going to get the saves. But if you see the importance of getting through your inning to get to Mariano, then I think you'll be back in the same thing of you know, how important you are to the team.
Breaking ball, strike 3. Well, here's the interesting thing. You would understand if Soriano had been a closer his whole career, and then it was very difficult to all of a sudden pitch the 8th inning. But coming into this season, he had been a setup guy for a while. He has 56 holds in his major league career, so it's not like this is the first time at this rodeo. He knows how to pitch the 8th inning. Maybe he just became so addicted to the save rush from last year. He had 45. He led the American League. Now it's taking him some time to adjust.
You know, every time a big name player comes over here, you talk about the adjustment of coming to play to New York, and I haven't heard that said to Soriano, because it's always been said, you know, he's changing his role. Well, it's a big adjustment to play in front of 45,000 people in Yankee Stadium, in the New York media. I mean, you make a mistake down in Tampa, nobody even knows about it. You make a mistake in Yankee Stadium, it's in the headlines. So he might just be going through that adjustment of being a Yankee in a big market, not being in a small market team anymore.
David Cooper's first 2 big league hits. He's 2 for 3. And now the count 3-0. First big league game was Friday. Called up from AAA. The 3-0 is a walk. So again, Soriano does not pitch a 1-2-3 inning. The last 1-2-3 inning he had, in fact his only one this year, was on March 31st when he retired the Tigers in order. Here's Edwin Encarnacion.
Well, just thinking back to last year, wasn't he kind of the closer that would have some interesting innings? One of those guys where it wasn't locked down. It always seemed like you had to earn it. Maybe you were sitting on the edge of your seats a little bit.
He had a guy like that back in 1996, John Wetland, and somehow the tying run would always end up on base, and somehow he'd whittle his way out of it. But unlike Mariano over his career.
Fly ball right field. Swisher is there. Another scoreless inning for Rafael Soriano. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 man left. Another hold in his holster.
Curtis Granderson at the bottom of the 5th inning breaks the game open for the New York Yankees with his 8th home run of the year, a 3-run shot for Land Rover drive of the game.
And that looms very large, because that is the difference in the ball game, and that's why it is called the drive of the game. New pitcher for the Blue Jays, Carlos Villanueva, who is essentially their long man, but they want to get him some work, so here he is in the 8th inning. Pitch is low.
Long man, short man, those numbers are pretty impressive. What, 4 hits and 14+ innings?
You know, it's a long name when the first letter and the last letter is under the armpit. And that's what Villanueva is sporting. Those are armpit letters. High fly ball. Right field. Rivera makes the play for the first out. Tomorrow, the Yankees head to Detroit to kick off a series with the Tigers. Our complete coverage starts at 6:30 with the Tri-State 4 pregame. Then Bob Lorenz and John Flaherty have the call from the booth. Yankees-Tigers, it all starts tomorrow at 6:30. It's only on Yes.
Busy man. Huh?
Heading to Detroit. I think Bob Lorenz probably already on his way there, doing some research.
Gotta tune in for that one.
I'll be watching. A-Rod pops it up. Aaron Sebia makes the play for the second out. So Alex is 0 for 4 and now in a 3 for 27 slide. He had been locked in really since the start of spring training. This is his first valley right now.
Seeing some fastballs that are beating him a little bit. I don't know if it's that leg kick, maybe a little bit too big, but you mentioned he was locked in early on. Check out the front leg and the leg kick, kind of a little high there, and just again underneath the fastball.
Eric Chavez pinch hitting for Robinson Cano. A little bit of an eyebrow raiser. Slow roller. Villanueva. And that'll do it. So if you need another reason to stay tuned for the postgame show, this is one. Find out what the deal is with Cano. Bo will come in and try to close it out. Nancy Newman will break down all the action from today's game and also have highlights from around the major leagues. Plus, Jack Curry gets the reaction from the clubhouse and any news there might be about Robinson Cano. It's all coming up on the WB Mason postgame only on Yes. So Mariano Rivera comes on seeking his 10th save. He did not get his 10th last year until May 26th. The numbers are great as always. And when he picked up his 9th save yesterday, that's the highest number of saves he's ever had at the end of April in his career. So gotten off to a good start. So it'll be 9-1-2 in the Blue Jays order, starting with John McDonald. Hit sharply, foul. Eduardo Nunez takes over at second after Eric Chavez had pinch hit for Cano in the bottom of the 8th.
I think back during the game if Cano dove for a ball, or I can't think of anything.
I can't either. Popped up. Granderson. One away. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Here's Rajay Davis. 1 for 2 with 2 walks. 3 stolen bases, 1 caught stealing. He's been active and 1 run scored.
Davis really the one hitter. The Yankees, Nova and everybody else going inside trying to tie him up. Cheated for a fastball in there, had his base hit.
The 1-2. Missed inside.
I'm so used to seeing Mariano get the close pitches because his location is so good and he repeats his delivery, keeps hitting the spots. Doesn't get that close call.
Punched out to right field, shallow. Nunez out quickly makes the play, and the Blue Jays are down to their final out. And here's Yunel Escobar. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Got a fly ball to center in the first. And a strike.
Be a nice clean win for the Yankees. Good start by Nova. A couple of home runs. Curtis Granderson, the big one. Nice job by the bullpen.
The 0-1. This should do it. Jeter charges, fires, got him, holding. Put it on the left side as the Yankees win this one 5-2. So Mariano Rivera picks up his 10th save. A home run for Curtis Granderson. The difference in this game, a 3-run shot. That came in the 5th inning, broke a 2-2 tie, and the Yankees held on. Stick around for the post-game show to find out who's today's Chevy player of the game. And the Yankees have a new high water mark of 7 games over 500. So, John, what did you think of Nova?
Well, you know, like we talked about during the game, his fastball was up in the zone, and I'm just very encouraged that he made some adjustments during the game, going to the curveball a little bit more until he found his location with the fastball.
Well, Curtis Granderson has found his location. He's standing right next to Jack Curry in front of the Yankee dugout. Jack?
Thanks a lot, Michael. Curtis, that 3-run homer, you hit it on a 3-2 pitch, but that starts out as a 3-0 count. Do you feel more comfortable at that point in that at-bat?
I try to, and then I take a 3-0 swing and miss, and then things kind of go back in his favor. So it's one of those things where you're constantly batting, never can get too high, never can get too low. Unless you make great pitches, it was hard to kind of get locked in on him.
You had a single earlier in the game against him. He also struck you out on a changeup. The chance to get that knowledge and see those other pitches, does that help you out on the home run at-bat?
That, plus we're also talking to all the rest of the guys in the lineup, seeing how he's pitching those guys, watching their at-bats, just seeing what he's doing in different counts. You try to go ahead and file things at the same time. You're just always ready when you step up there, and hopefully you can execute.
So you hit your 8th home run of the season today. Last year, you did not hit your 8th home run until July 25th. When I tell you that, what does that tell you?
Nothing really, just that the ball just happened to get over the fence a little bit earlier this year, but nothing major other than that. Trying to get swings and get guys in when I get opportunities to.
And finally, the guy who was the beneficiary of your homer, Ivan Nova. What did you think about the job he did for you guys?
Did great. You know, he battled through a couple ups and downs, but he stayed composed. He stayed in the game late, which was absolutely amazing, kept his pitch count down, and was able to go 7, which was absolutely great for him to go ahead and do that for us and pick up a win for him.
Curtis, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Michael, it's back to you.
All right, thank you, Jack, and thank you, Curtis, as well. It was a big day for Granderson, and it started early. In the first inning, he flashed some leather, robbing Jose Bautista of an extra base hit. Then in the 5th inning, his 3-run home run was the difference in the game. The Yankees won 5-2.